Welcome to Psalm 64. There's a contrast in Psalm 64 that we not only need to see, we need to feel. In Psalm 64, David is crying out to God for protection. He's feeling massive threat against him. You feel it in the first couple of verses where he says, "Hear my voice, O God, in my complaint. Preserve my life from dread of the enemy. Hide me from the secret plots of the wicked, from the throng of evil doers." Look at this secret plots of the wicked language. David is not just facing an enemy across a battlefield who's, got his arrow drawn ready to attack. He's got enemies that are in hiding, that are working in a cunning way. He goes on to describe them a little bit here. The throng of evildoers who whet their tongues like swords, who aim bitter words like arrows, shooting from ambush at the blameless, shooting at him suddenly and without fear. It's not the battleground scene where we've got our enemies and our weapons and they've got theirs. This is, I'm walking along thinking that things are normal and suddenly I'm shot out of nowhere. It's that kind of ambush, sinister language. Now, the context of feeling threatened is not unique to David, of course. We could feel this way ourselves. When you lift up the rocks and look underneath a little bit at what's happening in our world, you can start to get a little bit paranoid, right? You can start to fear because there seem to be sinister plots, secret plots of the wicked to do harm. In fact, the more you kind of probe and scratch the surface and listen, the more you kind of feel that these verses are relevant. Look at 5 and 6. Still talking about these enemies, David says they hold fast to their evil purpose. They talk of laying snares secretly, thinking, who can see them? They think that their traps that they're laying cannot be seen. They think that nobody can see them doing what they're doing, right? There's this kind of really dark, sinister feel to this. They search out injustice. It's like they establish committees to research the most sinister things they can do, saying, we have accomplished a diligent search. Right? We've done our best, and our best is the best, and nothing can stop us. For the inward mind and heart of a man are deep. There's an incredible arrogance to what they're saying in this section. They're plotting and they're scheming to bring about harm to others who are unsuspecting, naive, stupid, right? That's the perspective here. And it's easy for us to look a little bit in the world around and to see things that are going on and to think, wow, we're really in trouble, right? There's a sinister foe who is incredibly arrogant, who has really thought things through. But notice the contrast here in verse 7. This changes everything. But God. You can have the worst case scenario in verses 1 to 6. The worst things that we've ever imagined might be happening could be true. But verse 7 changes it. Verse 7 says, but God. Right? No matter what the evil intents of the enemy might be, but God. God shoots his arrow at them. They are wounded. Notice the word suddenly. And things may seem to be progressing according to their plan. It may feel like God is doing nothing. It's almost as if he actually ambushes them, right? That they suddenly, without any anticipation, without any warning, suddenly they are wounded. They are brought to ruin with their own tongues turned against them. All who see them will wag their heads. Like this passage here we see in other places too. The fact that God can sit and watch and wait, but he won't tolerate the arrogant pride of humanity looking to destroy humanity, lurking and wanting to do evil against the unsuspecting and the innocent. God watches. But God has a way of turning that sinister foe against itself so that it can end up destroying itself. God shoots his arrow at them. They are wounded suddenly. If we have this but God reality gripping us, then we can face the verses 1 to 6 reality with confidence, even if the worst case scenario is true. But God, We're on God's side. God is on our side. Therefore, here comes the application right at the end. Let the righteous one rejoice in the Lord and take refuge in him. Let the upright in heart exult. There may be some bad things happening, but God.